Welcome to another episode of Pillow Talk. My name is Carla D, and this is my room. I'm really happy to actually be home. I haven't been home. I feel like it's been a while. It hasn't been that long, but it feels like it's been a while. Muna and I just got back from Chiang Mai, Thailand, and we were shooting a double episode special of Misadventures, a travel show that we're doing, and I'm so happy to be home. Honestly, I've missed my bed. Is it a little bit dark? Shall I move back? Okay, I'll move back. But hi, it's great to be back in my own room now. This is Carla. He was given to me by one of my directors from the travel show. It was when we went to New Zealand. He's so cute. I love small and cute animals, if you haven't noticed. Anyway, for this episode, I'll face a little bit more this way, because I feel like I'm a bit dark, so I will angle my body. I wanted this episode to be about traveling and about moving countries. So I moved around a lot when I was a kid. It was just, something that I had to deal with growing up. And it wasn't just for holidays. It was, actually uprooting your entire family and moving countries. So I was born in Germany, and at the age of 6, my family and I, my mom, my sister and I, we moved to Australia, to Perth, Australia. And we lived there for a couple of years. I learned how to speak English properly. So now I can speak with an Australian accent. Yeah, it's not that hard. It's so bad. Now when I listen to it, it's so bad. But when I first learned how to speak English, it was actually with an Australian accent. Weird, right? And then after Australia, we lived in Australia for a couple of years, and then we moved to Singapore, which is here. And I lived here for about, I think, 15 years. And then I moved to Manila, Philippines on my own, and it was the first time I was moving away from home to a foreign country all alone. I had no relatives. I hardly knew anyone. But I decided to, grab life by the balls and just go, because I figured, what's the worst that could happen? If I don't like it, I can always come home. And I was, I'm one of those fortunate people that has that security and that safety net, that I can always come home to my family. And I know a lot of people that don't have that, and for them it's really a make it or break it sort of situation. And I have so much respect for those people, because they know what's at stake, and they know that they have to make it, that really is their only chance to either provide for their family or just make something out of their life, because they have obligations and responsibilities. I was very lucky. When I moved away, I didn't have any responsibilities in Singapore. I didn't have to pay off a car. I didn't have to pay off an apartment. So I went with the suitcase that I had packed, and it wasn't a lot of clothes. But I found myself in Manila, and what was meant to be a holiday turned into me staying for 2.5 years. And a lot of that was to do with just taking opportunities that come to you. I never in my life thought I would live in the Philippines. I had never gone to the Philippines before I went, and I moved there. But it was never somewhere I saw myself living. Yet when I went there, it had such a familiarity to it. And I think it really was the people in the Philippines, because everyone's so warm and so caring. And from the moment I got there, people were trying to, take me home, not in a sexual way, but take me home to feed me, or come and spend the holidays with my family. You've got no one, you're so kawawa, you should be with people that and even if I didn't know them well, they embraced me, and they it's a love that I've never felt from anywhere else in the world, and I really, really love that. So Manila very quickly became home for me, and I always believe that home really is where your heart is, you know. My family has traveled so much, so there's so many times where I've been away from my family and my family's been away from me, and that's not normal for a lot of people. You know, the fact that I didn't see my sister for like 3 or 4 years, and I didn't see my mom for more than a year. It's a very foreign concept to a lot of people, and I never really knew how to deal with that or answer people's questions when they would ask. You know, like, isn't that bad? Shouldn't you be spending time with your family? Shouldn't you, you know, how do you know that your family's going to be around forever? Shouldn't you make it a point to be there with them as much as you can? And while I agree with that, I completely agree that you don't know what life's going to bring you. My mom really raised me with the idea of living life for yourself, you know. And my mom's a perfect example of that, because she's Singaporean Chinese. But when she met my dad, and he was based in Germany, she uprooted and she left everything in Singapore and she moved to Germany to be with him. And she didn't know anyone. You know, she knew my dad, and that was it. And she made friends from there. And I have so much respect for her to be able to do that. And I always wish that one day I can, you know, have that strength to up and move to a country to be with someone, because I think that's such a selfless thing to do, and I think it's beautiful. So when I moved to Manila, I talked to my mom about it, and she said, you know, if that's your path, if that's meant to be your journey, then go, you know. And my grandma went crazy. My grandma thought that it was really dangerous, that I was a girl moving to the Philippines on my own, that I was going to get kidnapped, that, you know, they wouldn't see from me again, that, you know, I would get lost, I would get robbed. Like, she had all of these ideas in her head, and she would always ask me to come home. She was like, you know, come back to Singapore. It's better, it's safer. Come home. No one is in the Philippines to take care of you. Thank God I'm quite a stubborn person. And I very rarely let people tell me what to do, because I feel like life is a journey that you're supposed to experience on your own, and that, you know, the stories people can tell you, yes, you can learn from them, but the greatest lessons are learned on your own. And I felt I needed to learn how to live on my own. I needed to learn how to pay my own bills, and, you know, do my laundry, and have an apartment where no one was going to come in and clean, and I had to do everything on my own. And I loved it. I loved every part of it, because I felt so independent. I felt like I had my shit together, which is not a feeling that you get often at this age, you know. At this age, there's so many times I feel like I'm at the mercy of so many different things and different people. And me having my own apartment in a foreign country felt like one little victory for myself. It felt like, yes, I've made it. Not really, but I've kind of made it, and I'll take it, you know. I took whatever I could get. And I wasn't picky, you know. I had a small little studio apartment, which was really just big enough for me, but I was so happy. And I made it work, and I made it home. And I felt so safe in that home. And I never had a bad experience in the Philippines. You know, I never had anything stolen. I was never taken for a ride in a cab. Maybe sometimes in a taxi, you know, he'll like take you around a few more blocks so he can get a bit more money. But I don't blame them. You know, I don't get angry about these things, and it's fine. So my Manila experience was phenomenal. It was absolutely incredible. But now I've moved back to Singapore, and, you know, I've moved back in with my family, and it's so strange to go from living with your family to living alone, and then living back with your family. It's like, it's a huge change. One, it's a big change to live with your family and then to live alone. it's an even bigger change to live alone and then live with your family, because you're so used to doing things on your own. You're so used to doing things your way. Not that it's a better way than anybody else's, but it's just, it's your unique way of doing things. And now when you live with your family again, you're like, oh yeah, I've got to share a bathroom. Oh yeah, I've got to share this. Oh yeah, I can't wear my top because my sister's nicked my top from my drawer and she's wearing it. So it's things like that that you learn to adjust and deal with again. And it's been so exciting and interesting, because my sister moved back obviously with her 2 kids. And now I get to be an auntie. So this house, which was filled with so many memories of me growing up, is now filled with my nieces growing up. But just on traveling, I think it's the most incredible experience for people to have in their lives. I have so many friends who are now going through that, who are moving to LA. Becky, I love you. Who are moving to Singapore. I'm not going to say who it is, but there's so many people now who are taking that leap and just moving to a different part of the world and making it work for themselves and with their spouse or with their family. And I just want to give you courage and give you hope that it's going to feel weird in the beginning, and you're going to feel like a foreigner, and you're going to feel like you don't get the jokes, and it might be in a different language, and you don't get the references, or you don't get so many things, and you always feel like you're missing out. But just know that it's not always going to be that way. You should embrace the journey that you're on at the moment. Embrace the awkwardness of not really fitting in, the awkwardness of finding new friends, and then discovering which group of people really click with you and your vibe, and then hang out with those people. You should never feel like you don't want to be a lamppost. That was one of the things I told myself when I was in Manila, to never be afraid to ask people to hang out with them. We so often think, oh, I shouldn't message this person because they've got their own group of friends, and why would they want to babysit me? I'm the foreigner. I'm going to tag along with them, and I'm going to be so lame. Stop thinking that way. People appreciate it when you make an effort, and people want to include you, but sometimes they don't know how, because they don't know if you want to be by yourself or whatever. But if you make an effort and you actively pursue them and say, hey, I'm home alone, I'm not doing anything, are you having dinner tonight, can I come along? More often than not, people are gonna take you in, because people aren't scary. People want to be with people. Humans are social creatures. We want to have interaction with other people, and we delight in that, and we delight in stories and finding out things which are so far removed from our own lives. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of connecting with people that you don't really know. Just don't be afraid of life. Don't be afraid of new things. Fear is nothing. Fear is just a thought. And more often than not, it's created in our own head of us psychoanalyzing things. There is no actual fear. We create it on our own, and we use it to limit ourselves of happiness and limit ourselves from doing the things that we want to explore. Yeah. I feel like I'm talking to myself. I feel like this is something I wish someone had told me when I moved to the Philippines. That it's okay to be new. That there's nothing wrong. So I'm giving that advice to whoever needs it. Whoever's watching, if you're embarking on a new journey, or if you're thinking of embarking on a new journey but you're holding yourself back because you're scared of everything you might leave behind, what about the things you can gain? What about the things you'll see? You have to try. And if it doesn't work out and if you don't like it, then okay, at least you've tried it, you know? At least you won't look back and go, I wish I did that. I'm gonna leave you with that. And let that sink in. But thanks for joining me, and I hope you have a great rest of the week. And yeah, hug someone. Give someone courage today. I think people need that.